Is Labour MP Anna McMorrin, who joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. What does Jeremy Corbyn mean if he says it's an issue, this second referendum or a second vote is an issue for the future, not for today? What does he mean? Is he edging towards, sort of moving towards that position?
Well, certainly he is. And we know that in Labour conference in September, the Labour Party policy was agreed by delegates from up and down the country and a lot of constituency parties all voting unanimously for our policy, which is to keep all options on the table. Yeah. If the deal didn't pass the six tests, which it clearly doesn't, then we want either a general election and keeping all options on the table, including a people's vote. Right,
but my problem is why he's sort of doing it begrudgingly and sort of moving very slowly towards that position. Why can't you persuade your leader to unequivocally back a second referendum? Because, you know, one assumes it would have support within the Labour movement.
It certainly has support up and down the Labour movement and now across the country. Labour supporters, non-Labour supporters, everywhere across the country. I am hearing people talking to me about this deal leaves us nothing. It's a blindfold Brexit. What we need now is to put that back to the people. And that's the clear policy of the Labour Party as well, is that if this deal doesn't work
it's not
for
the
people,
clear it's not at all the clear policy of the Labour Party. The policy of the Labour Party is all options are on the table. What I don't
including the option of a people's vote. Keir Starmer set that out very clearly. He was at the PLP meeting last week, setting that out very clearly. He's there again tonight, and I know that that's what he believes, that's what John McDonnell believes, and I've heard Jeremy Corbyn say that as well.
Yes, you've heard him say it, but you can't say that's what he believes, and that's my issue. I don't understand why Jeremy Corbyn is being so reluctant in a way that, as you say, Keir Starmer is probably not, and other people like yourself are probably not. What's the reluctance here?
Look, this isn't an easy position for anyone. We're in one of the most important issues in the middle of that we have seen since the end of the Second World War. None of this is easy. This is new territory for everybody. And we know that we want the best for our communities up and down the country, our businesses, the families, livelihoods. We want the best for everybody. Yeah. Now, I think we're in deadlock at the moment. There's no parliamentary majority for Theresa May's deal. We need to do the right thing and put that now back to the country and see what the country think. And whether you're a Remainer, whether you're a Leaver, this deal certainly isn't what you voted for.
OK, but for that to happen, you need to persuade your leader to be unequivocal about that position. And, you know, the time is running out. The clock is ticking here. He didn't even want to say yesterday which way he would vote if there was a second referendum. So which way do you think Jeremy Corbyn would vote if there was a second referendum?
I think he'd certainly vote to remain, because we know all the evidence is there from businesses, from our communities. All the evidence is there that the deal we have now is the best one for our country. Now, businesses want certainty. This deal does not give certainty at all. It leaves us indefinitely talking about Brexit for years to come during the transition period, and that transition period is indefinite.
Businesses...
That's not...
Yeah, no, I
That's
understand.
not a good position for our country to be in at all.
I understand, but businesses seemed pretty supportive of Theresa May today at the CBI. You know, they appeared to at least go some way to backing her position. Isn't the reality now that it is Theresa May's deal or no deal?
No, that's not it at all. That's a false choice. And that's the choice that she would like us to think it is. And if it's that choice, then what are we choosing from? Our economy reducing, our businesses struggling. Yes, you know, there is a certain amount during the transition deal. There would be a certain amount of certainty, but we'll be talking about Brexit for years to come, dividing our country even more. I don't want that, and I don't think our communities, people up and down the country want that. We want to get on and build our country, bring our country back together. That's not what's happening now.
I mean, I suppose in a way, in a sense, the deal that sort of Theresa May has reached after all this negotiation, 2 years of negotiation, isn't actually that difficult for Labour to stomach, is it? Because it does keep close ties, the Brexiteers say, for far too long to a customs union. And, you know, what's wrong with the deal?
Well, what is the deal? It's basically pages and pages of something cobbled together, the divorce agreement. It's the future arrangements, that political arrangement, the future, that is key to this, and that hasn't been decided. So actually there is no certainty. This is a blindfold Brexit, which is why we need to put the vote back to the people and give the people a final say. And I am having those conversations up and down my constituency, across Wales and across the country, that want us to do that. They want to say whether they voted leave, whether they voted remain, and people are changing their minds now. They can see that actually, you know, this is not what they voted for 2 years ago.
All right, and just finally and briefly, isn't the truth that Jeremy Corbyn, by hook or by crook, and the Labour leadership want another general election and are prepared to do anything, even to sabotage Brexit, to try and get that?
No, of course not. Look, we're all elected as members of Parliament to represent our communities up and down the country, and that's what we're doing. Now, we need to make sure that in this the biggest issue, the biggest decision we are seeing in a generation, that we get this right for our communities and for our businesses.
All right, Anna McMorrin, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is the News Hour on Sky News. Coming next, why the